There's no such thing as a sure thing. The #1 draft pick doesn't always become the #1 guy.
Oh, and Jet goes down.
He crashed over there, obviously.
First lap he crashed, and he crashed the second time too.
Did it?
Yeah.
You know, I didn't win on the Reddit's title, and I thought my life was over. I would do anything to go back to those last couple of years and enjoy those last couple of years with my family before it turned into a job. I mean, I wasn't supposed to win a championship ever. I was from a town of 200 people or 50 people or something like that in Kansas.
That's great. I got the whole shot.
The kid knows he's, quote, made it before he even got there. How hard is he really going to push?
All right, once again, folks, we get bikes in staging right now. Girls, senior, get down to staging right now. We can load the gate for the first moto. Junior 25 plus, you can be in staging for Moto 2, 65 temperature limit division 1 and 2. Get down to staging for races 3 and 4 this morning. Once again, girls, get
It's difficult to find the talent, I would say, and there's so many variables that go into it. What your needs are as the team or the brand at that given point in time. If you have a hole in the program, or you need to look towards filling a seat at the professional level, I'm doing a lot of homework probably before I ever even talk to someone. And I would say when it comes time to talk to someone, showing interest in having them be a part of our program, at that point I'm probably ready to go on it. I don't do a lot of talking for nothing in the sense of like approaching someone and saying, hey, look, we're interested. If I come and have that conversation, we're going to try to make it happen at that point. I would say you're always rolling the dice. There's no such thing as a sure thing. The #1 draft pick doesn't always become the #1 guy. And there's no sure thing that you can, pull a Tom Brady and draft him 199 and he becomes the best of all time. I don't know that anyone has ever gone to Loretta Lynn's and said, that dude in 24th place, he's the guy. And that's where I think doing your homework is important, to try to know as much as you can. I probably, in some cases, overanalyze a little bit more than I need to, instead of just going with my gut or going with a feeling that I have. It's stressful, it's difficult. It's probably the hardest part of the job, especially when you get to the point where you've kind of placed a bet on someone and they get to that next level and you find out on Saturday night if it's sink or swim.
I'll prep it a little bit better after the sighting lap because I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah, so just roll over it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Try, but don't.
Yeah, don't just.
Yeah. How is it out there? Good?
Yeah. It's super choppy.
Just off the bumps, like play with the bike, be smooth. Don't hold on tight, just use your legs and breathe. Remember, in a jump, nose and with your mouth, okay? All right, have fun.
When it comes down to the nitty-gritty of it, of, you know, who's the guy. And I think that's where it becomes really difficult on me as a person, individually, where you have people that you've had a relationship with for a long time, and you get close to them on a personal level, and you have to make business decisions, and it can be challenging to have them understand that we like you guys, we love your kid, you know, we have a level of belief in your kid, but you know, it's maybe not the best fit for us to then move on to that next level, which obviously as part of our program, everybody, or anyone in amateur racing, I'm sure, not just someone that's in our program, they're looking for that next step. And we're trying to provide them with the means to achieve that next step, and you know, they got to earn their way there, and not everybody earns their way there. Those make for difficult conversations, and you know, can create hard feelings, and that's unfortunate that can happen, and does happen, but you know, it's something I really struggle with. Of, you know, on one hand you feel like you're the decider, but you know, I've had people that help me tell me, you know, well, they decide, you know, they decide if they make it or not, to a degree, through their performance, their results, and everything else about them. So you know, I put a ton of pressure on myself to make good decisions and do the right thing, and you know, lead our program down the right path and make the right decisions. But yeah, it's hard.
Why do you think that we see so many amateur kids, like good level amateur kids, kind of fizzle out?
There's a lot of variables to that, but one, and it's probably one of the bigger lessons I try to tell people, is that you got to learn to lose. And that starts from the beginning, you know, from when they're young. And again, going back to, you know, all the guys on that professional gate were the man at one point as an amateur. You know, that's pretty much how they got to that point, is because they were the guy, they were the man. You know, they won the Loretta's titles and all the awards, or whatever the case may be. And they probably won way more than they lost. So then you show up on a professional gate, and history has shown, with the exception realistically of one guy in the entire history of the sport, you're gonna lose a lot more than you're gonna win. So learn to lose, learn how to deal with that, learn how not to get in a bad spot, a dark place. And I think that's where a lot of it is. I think, because you know, in recent years, I've had experience with so many of those kids that came in and fizzled out. And I think they didn't know how to deal with it. You know, they didn't know how to deal with getting their teeth kicked in every week. And it's one thing as an amateur, you go to a race and you do bad, and oh great, I got, you know, 3-4 months to get ready for the next one. You got to do it 6 days later as a professional. Oh, and then you did shitty again the next weekend? Well, you got to go back 6 days later and do it again. Like, it's hard to turn it around in a week. And 3 bad weeks happen, they can get in a bad spot. So that's the maturity, the mentality, and again, like, I think learning to lose is important, and not letting that ruin you, really. That's a big deal.
But here we go, the chase is on. Let's see if Hymas can track down the 147. It does look like
he
Hymas
has cut into that. It was 5 seconds moments ago. It's about 3 now. So Hymas on a heater, made a mistake, or a combination of the two. So at 207, back-to-back 207s for Chance Hymas, back-to-back 208s for Levi Kitchen. So Hymas trying to work something out here.
And starting to get comfortable with the pace, maybe finding he's got those lines he needs. Sometimes it takes a couple laps to pick out where you want to go, what the good lines are going to be for you.
Halfway there, they both now dropped their lap times down to 206s. So Hymas is just going right along with Levi Kitchen. Every time Hymas thinks he's got one going, Kitchen just drops a hammer on his as well.
Gonna try to stay closer to you this moto. Yo, yo.
It looks like Kitchen had a problem just before number 3, and Chance is going to go by him.
You talk about staying in the fight. Chance Hymas didn't get demoralized, didn't get bummed out that he couldn't quite reel in Levi Kitchen.
So just like that, everything changes.
Stay in the fight.
And you know what? If you're Chance Hymas, not only you got to get the win, but you just proved to yourself, yeah, I can hang with this guy all the way through.
Yeah, very impressive ride from both of those guys. It'll be fun to watch them plug it out again. We got a few more motos with them together.
And it is going to be the Monster Energy Team Green ride, the 832. Chance Hymas, one more trip through the Texas 12-pack. And that's going to be the checkered flag, so race win.
That one feels good. You can see he worked for that one. 25 minutes plus a lap. That's getting close to being an old 30-minute moto right there. Nicely done.
And never really went below 208 for his laps. 208, 209 was as slow as he was.
I don't like the idea of, you know, guaranteeing a long-term thing for someone for so many reasons, you know, from a company standpoint and even from their own standpoint too, you know? I think there's a lot of guys that got taken advantage of in deals like that. From a financial standpoint or yeah, really financially, because it's like shooting fish in a barrel sometimes. You know, someone comes to you and says, hey, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to have your kid live out his dream and be a professional racer, and he's gonna make this much money. Who's gonna walk away from that as a parent, you know? And I've had families that have left us to go do those things. You know, their words exactly, how do I not give my kid that opportunity? I'm like, I get it. But at the same time, I want them to believe in their kid that I don't need to make that decision today when they're 12, 13 years old. I do believe in my kid, and I believe he will continue to succeed, and those opportunities will be available to them down the road. And you would like to think it's gonna make them work for it too. Because I think, going back to the difficulty part of it, if a kid knows he's, quote, made it before he even got there, how hard is he really gonna push? Knowing that, it's fine. Funny story, NBC Sports filmed Loretta's one year, like they did a big NBC show, and they featured the A-class kids. So they wanted to make a big deal of like, how important is this race to you? You know, because Loretta's is like, this is the launching point to your professional career. You know, if you do good here, you're gonna make it. You're gonna get that factory contract, blah, blah, blah. And they picked these 4 kids who were the top guys that year in that class. And they're all like, yeah, it doesn't really matter because I already got my deal. So like whether I win here or not, it doesn't matter because like I already have my contract. And you're like, that's not right, you know? It's changed a lot. And from when I started with Kawasaki, we went to Loretta's in the A class, and the kids that were winning didn't have rides. And they went there battling to win, to earn those spots. And now if the mentality is like, it's fine, like, it doesn't really matter. Like, when you're a professional, every race matters. So if they're an amateur and they're lining up with that mentality of, it's okay. I think you're training their brain the wrong way. It's not a good thing.
It's good.
My nuts got stuck on the bar. It's over there.
I just thought it wasn't
Good? Better?
Yeah, way better.
My foot got stuck in the roof.
That's why you...
Hey, pretty good.
Yeah, you know where I stopped?
Yeah.
My foot was stuck in the rear wheel, so I had to back up, or else I'd have been screwed. Dude, it was like, I thought it was going to suck in the street.
I was just worried if you didn't get there as early that you would have got balled up in the first turn, but it worked out.
was pretty good. I told him, it's weird, like when he does not get tight and stuff, he doesn't have issue breathing or arm pump or anything. That's weird,
It's easy when you do good.
Yeah.
And you were coming no matter what. You know what I mean?
I can tell
your pace was there. You got there a little in the beginning, and then he dropped like two gnarly laps.
Yeah.
And then you chipped away, and then once, before he made that mistake, you had it down to 2.5.
Yeah.
And then he made the mistake, and then...
Yeah, because he was 06.7, and then you were 06.2,
Yeah.
so like, you...
You went with him.
Yeah.
Every time he dropped, you dropped.
Yeah.
Because you were 8s, then he went 7,
Yeah.
and he went 6, and you went every time.
From your perspective and how long you've been doing this and what you've seen and gone through in all your years, like, straight up, how many kids actually are going to make it?
I mean, it depends on how long it lasts for, too, you know, and it's kind of easy to figure out in a way. You know, every year it's 1 or 2 guys are going to get that shot. So of every kid in America that rides a dirt bike, 1 or 2 a year are going to get that chance. It's hard. When you really get down to it, they live a privileged life in the sense compared to what I would call a normal kid. They're probably not going to normal school, and the stresses of being a teenager in normal life, I would call it. Like, most of us live that, I guess you could say. You know, going to high school, everything that goes along with being in high school, public school, growing up, and that life. Like, you know, a lot of them, they've kind of ran free for years. They live somewhere on their own in a motorhome, and they get to ride their dirt bike every day. And like, yeah, the riding can be hard, but it's kind of what you make of it too. They've got it pretty good, and I don't know that a lot of them realize how nice they have it. And you know, if you're getting the support and everything like that, yeah, they have stress, they have pressure, whether it's obviously from themselves or the family, or if they feel like it comes from us. Those are variables too. And I don't know how many of them take a serious look at it and say, like, I have the opportunity of a lifetime to really achieve my dream here. I can't mess it up. And I think a lot of them just think it's gonna come easy because they're good on a dirt bike. And there's so much more to it than that. Again, there's thousands of kids out there that can ride a dirt bike good. 99% of them aren't gonna make it because I don't think they take it seriously enough. That's what I really believe is I think so many of them don't take it serious enough to truly succeed because they're just having a good time riding their dirt bike and they're not ready to grow up yet. And if you're gonna be a guy, you 15, 16, 17 years old, at that point you're buckled down and it's serious. Like, if you want to be legit, you're treating it as seriously as possible at that point. Because if you're not, I don't think it's going to happen.